For 5 weeks he's been saying it, and today was no different. White House spokesman Jay Carney urging the Russians to send Edward Snowden back to the U.S. to face trial.
There is absolute legal justification for Mr. Snowden to be returned to the United States. He's not a dissident, he's not a whistleblower, he's been charged with a crime.
In Moscow, Edward Snowden's lawyer has confirmed his client is now free to look for accommodation outside the main airport.
Concerning his place of residence, he'll choose it himself. He can live in a hotel or an apartment. As he's one of the most wanted people on earth, he'll be making sure his place of residence is absolutely safe.
30-year-old Edward Snowden arrived at Moscow's main airport from Hong Kong on the 23rd of June. Since then, he's been stuck in the transit zone after the United States revoked his passport. He initially planned to fly on to Latin America, where 3 countries say they'd offer him asylum. But later, appearing alongside human rights activists, he admitted fears of being detained on the way were keeping him in Moscow. Snowden, a former systems analyst at the National Security Agency, faces felony charges after leaking details of vast U.S. government surveillance programs. Only last week, Attorney General Eric Holder wrote to Moscow saying Edward Snowden would not face the death penalty if he was extradited back to the U.S. Now the decision's been taken to give him asylum. Several top-level meetings between the U.S. and Russia, slated for the coming months, are in doubt. These include Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov's visit to Washington next week, a bilateral between Obama and Putin in Moscow in September, ahead of the G20 summit in St. Petersburg, and the UN General Assembly at the end of September. At the State Department, they're stressing if any of those occasions wind up being cancelled, the US and Russia will still have much to talk about.
We're not going to stop engaging with them on Syria, on the way forward, on missile defense, on any of these issues, because one meeting does or does not happen.
On Sunday, Edward Snowden's father said he'd be happy for his son to stay in Russia permanently.
I believe this from my heart, that Russia is the safest place for my son.
Now it looks like that wish is coming true, at least for the next 12 months. John Terrett, Al Jazeera, Washington.